All right. So this is Aaron the Pedantic. Take two, because apparently I'm very edgy today, and I didn't feel like doing the editing. So I talked. We did on the podcast yesterday the Bard and the Tiefling. The whole point of the thing was to give Chelsea something to respond to because of the fact that she is doing a video in defense of bards. And so I want to make sure she's got plenty to defend. And so I'm going to try and wrap up, what exactly it is about the Bard that I don't like. And it's going to be focused on the 5th edition Bard because it's the one I'm most familiar with. It's the one she's most familiar with. So the Bard. I hate the Bard because of the fact that it basically is one of the many things in 5th edition that just kills class niche. The whole idea that you have a character that is so versatile that there's really not a situation that they don't help in. They don't do something really useful at. It really grinds my gears because of the fact that, it just happens to coincide that most of the time the people that want to play a bard, including me, I enjoy playing a bard sometimes. It's usually going to be somebody who is incredibly talkative, who is incredibly hogging of the spotlight, you could say. And now they have a medium where they can always do it. They can always do it to some kind of capacity. It's not that they're just inserting themselves. It's that they've got the lubrication too. They've got something that's saying, yeah, you can absolutely do something useful here. And this is already a problem in 5th edition, especially if you involve multi-classing. A little bit if you involve feats, but especially if you involve multi-classing. In a lot of subclasses, they really start, like rubbing things together. But, the Bard is just a whole nother thing. Is it a martial fighter? Not exactly, but it can be. It really can be. And up until a certain point, it can be a very effective martial fighter, basically up until about 5th level. And by that time, their magic is pretty solid. Their magic is pretty solid, which is another thing. They are a full caster. They are a full caster who is going to specialize in enchantment, in illusionism. So they have a particular niche. I'll give you that. But it is also a niche that kind of steps on the toes of the wizard. And that's not the only way that they can step on the toes of the wizard, because of the fact that they are able to get expertise in such things as arcana, and they can, with a decent int score, you don't even have to have the best, just decent. If you have a decent intelligence score, you can overshadow the wizard who has spent their entire fucking life studying magic almost. Unless you're running a game in a world where it's like, well, I feel like being a wizard, so I'm just going to study a little bit. That's not how I do most of mine. But you could, whatever. But that to me is absurd. They can, just because of the fact that the way backgrounds work, they can get proficiency in almost everything, and they can get expertise in whatever that is, that thing that they picked up. So they can just do, things better than other player characters that are going to be more thematically focused in that thing. And to me, that is absurd. It is absurd. It just ruins class niche. And why is class niche important? I've talked about it before. I'll probably do a whole fucking video on it at one point. But the whole thing about it is that it gives the player character a specific kind of identity that they fall under, that makes it so that whenever a particular kind of encounter is brought up, there's a good chance that people know this is the one we can turn to for this kind of thing. And you'll notice that this starts breaking down whenever you have a lot of multi-classing. Then it's like, oh, we got this person, they can all handle it. So the Bard can do just about anything anybody else can do, especially whenever it comes to the Rogue. What does the Rogue have? The Rogue gets expertise. They can get, thieves' tools, and they can, they can get sneak attack. What can the Rogue, the Bard get? The Bard can get all of those fucking things. They can get all those things except for sneak attack, which they can kind of get their own form of it with a certain subclass. and I don't really care about damage. Like that's probably the least of my concerns, and that's probably why this offends me more than it does some people, because they're like, well, the bards don't deal a lot of damage. I don't give a fuck about damage. Fuck your damage. But the bard is going to be able to do just about all those things. And in old editions, and yes, I'm going before 3rd edition, because 3rd edition is where they started really fucking this up. Maybe even 2nd edition. I can't really be sure. I don't really have the whole lowdown on how the bard works in 2nd edition. But they basically, the thief was the skill person. They were the skill person. You wanted something skillful done, you got a fucking thief. And now it's like, well, you get a bard. And I'm sorry, it just gets kind of ridiculous. Hit die, they get a D8. They get a D8. A D8 is pretty fucking good, especially considering the fact that they are not like the most martial class. I mean, it's on par with the rogue again. What about their weapon and armor proficiencies? It's on par with the rogue again. It's, they're going to have access to the rapier. They're going to have access to, a short sword, to, like just about most of the same things. They're going to have about the same armor. It's killing me inside, honestly. So that, mechanically speaking, that's most of what's wrong with it. Now let's go into whenever they're casting spells. When they're casting spells, they can use, and this is something that someone brought up and I knew it. It was something that always bothered me, but I might have forgotten to mention otherwise. So, Shield of Eyes, good job. They can use their instrument as a focus. They can use it. This language, what does this say? This is saying you don't have to use your instrument. So there are somatic components, right? But there are ways. And does it say that you have to play your instrument? No, it does not. You can wave a guitar around, in a particular way, and it's going to make this thing happen as long as you verbalize something. Does it have to be singing? No, it doesn't have to be singing. They just have no fucking spine, enough to say, all right, so you can do this through singing. You can do this through playing your instrument. You can do this through this way or that way. And, like really developing it. No, they're just like, well, I mean, you just need to have your instrument, really. I fucking hate it. The thematics of a person who is just going into a dungeon where there are all kinds of deadly shit going around, and you have someone playing some music, and people feel inspired. Now, I didn't mind it so much in the olden days, whenever it's like, you can play it, people around you, they'll get like a +1 or whatever, and you're going to spend your time doing that. No. In 5th edition, in 6 seconds, you can inspire someone, and you can do something else entirely. You can inspire them and cast a spell. You can inspire them and run up 30 feet and stab somebody. It's so many things, just so fucking many things. But when I think of people creeping around deadly, dangerous places with, full of traps and all kinds of things, the last thing I think of is somebody bringing around a lute to cast spells by strumming a guitar. Some people think it's cool. Like I gave up on fighting it at one point, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of neat, but is it immersive? No, not really. So, yeah, that's it. #delete the bard from 5th edition. There you go. That's it for today. Hopefully some less inflammatory material coming soon, but I really wanted to do this primarily for Chelsea's benefit. And I guess I'll do one on tieflings too, but not today. So y'all have a wonderful day.